ATL Bloods used the ChatGPT time machine to save Young Dolph and King Von. The old bubble Chevy Caprice didn't belong in 2026 with the way it was modded out. Of course, the 22-inch chrome Dubs rims were laughable with people riding around on 30s these days, but they hummed like they were alive, so the size didn't matter, and the trunk glowed faint blue, which looked fire at night. And it definitely stood out with a dashboard powered by something calling itself a ChatGPT time machine interface. A week after building the time machine and using it to save their uncle, Quontavious gripped the steering wheel as the brothers hopped in the beast after coming back from a meeting with a few of their Bloods gang bros. "Bruh, we ain't used this thing since last Thursday. It's time to crank it back up," he said. Dray sat in the passenger seat staring straight ahead with red eyes, jaw tight. "Hell yeah, lil' bruh," he choked, smoking on a blunt thick as a gorilla's thumb. 6 years earlier, their Uncle Marcus was supposed to die in that same car, shot up in a bad deal gone wrong, but they went back in time and saved him. If you ain't see that story yet, just leave this video and go check it out now, or wait till the end of this and click the link for it when it pops up in the end credits. It's part 1, so it'll be in order to watch that one first. The time machine they built with their cousin Terrell helped save their unk, and now they was thirsty to use it again. They watched their uncle's shooters pull up to the meetup spot and leave without catching a body. Marcus was alive now, calling them crazy for building a time machine. Quan exhaled from his own blunt slowly. "So, if we saved one person, we need to go ahead and start saving others." Dre turned and looked at him. "I know what you finna say," Quan nodded. "Dolph," Dre smirked. "And that boy King Von." The slain Memphis rapper Young Dolph was Quontavious' favorite, while Chirac's King Von was one of Dre's. The Caprice's screen flickered. The AI was listening to their convo and already knew their intentions. "Destination ready. Select target event." The brothers looked at each other. "What about Cuz?" Quan asked, referring to them having to go pick up their cousin Terrell in Stone Mountain because he was the brains behind the time machine. Dre barked, "We don't need him. I know how to work this bitch like a pro, but let's go back to the lab first. I gotta take a shit. That Taco Bell running through a nigga gang." This time, they weren't saving family. They were about to rewrite rap history. In the week since their first usage of the time machine, they decided to relocate the car from their hood in Mechanicsville to a hideout spot in rural Cobb County outside of Sandy Springs. The decaying building sat deep on the edge of Atlanta, an abandoned auto shop that still smelled like oil, metal, and burnt rubber. Now it smelled like electricity. Wires ran across the floor. Old speakers had been ripped apart and reassembled into something unrecognizable. And in the middle of it all sat the Caprice, quiet, waiting. Dre exited the rotting bathroom after dropping his load, even though there was no running water to flush the filthy toilet. "We gotta be smart about this," he said. "This ain't like Unk. That was one moment. These," he shook his head, "these whole situations." Quan leaned against the car. "I'm saving Dolph first, bruh." Dre rubbed his face. "Man, that situation messy. That ain't just one shooter. That's layers, streets, politics." Quan shrugged. "Don't matter. He ain't deserve to go out like that." Silence filled the room. Dre finally nodded. "All right, let's do that then. We going down to the west end of that hookah bar and save that boy Vaughn." They bumped fists. The screen inside the Caprice lit up again. Enter destination date. Dre climbed into the driver's seat first. "November 17th, 2021, he said quietly. Quan looked at him. "That's the day." Dre nodded. Makita's Cookie Shop on Airways Boulevard. The air felt different the second they made the time jump and landed behind a closed-down KFC down the street. Memphis had a heaviness to it, like something bad was already written in the air. Dre stared at the building. "You feel that?" he asked. Quan nodded slowly. "Yeah, like we already too late." Dre clenched his jaw. "Nah, we right on time." They stepped out. Everything looked normal. Cars passing, people walking, music playing faintly from somewhere. But Dre knew In a few minutes, everything would go up. He turned to Quan. Aight, listen, we don't got time to bullshit around, lil' bruh. Grab that Draco out the back seat. I got the sawed off and the glizzy with the extendo. I'm finna go inside and let Dolph know what's up. You stay out here and watch the street. Koo nodded. Bet. Dre walked toward the shop, heart pounding. Inside, everything was calm. And there he was, young Dolph, sent ding at the counter trying to decide which cookies he wanted. Laughing, relaxed, like nothing in the world was finna happen to him in his own city. Dre froze for a second. Damn, he whispered. This was real, not a video, not a memory, right in front of him. He stepped forward. Yo, Dolph, he said.
Can you please like and subscribe to the channel? I'll suck your d.
Dolph turned. Eyes popped out as he eyed the Mossberg pump in Dre's hand. What's up, my nigga? Dre swallowed. Listen, this gonna sound crazy, but you gotta leave. Right now. Dolph raised an eyebrow. You finna try and rob a nigga or something? Dre stepped closer, lowering his voice. Hell nah, gang. I'm trying to save you. Some niggas in a white Benz finna pull up to this bitch and air it out, and this bitch behind the counter seen them coming and didn't even warn you. The room felt like it tightened as the cashier glared at Dre with evil eyes. Dolph studied his face, trying to read him. Outside, Quan suddenly stiffened. A white Mercedes slowed down near the corner. Too slow. Windows tinted. Engine still running. His heart started racing. He grabbed his gun. Dre, he whispered. They here, he said into his iPhone's mouthpiece. Inside, Dre's eyes widened. He looked back at Dolph. My lil' bruh outside and said them niggas out there now. You coming or what? A beat passed. Then two. Dolph looked toward the big windows and saw the Benz pulling into the parking lot. Then back at Dre. Aight, he said, let's dip. The L on the shop door rang as they pushed out. Quan waved urgently. Hurry the fuck up, y'all. The white car started creeping forward faster now. Dre didn't hesitate. Run. Dolph took off with them. The Caprice sat waiting. Engine already humming. They jumped in. Right as the white car pulled to a stop several feet away, three masked men hopping out with guns drawn. Quan slammed the gas pedal. Gunshots rang out behind them. A bullet pierced through the back window, almost hitting Dolph in the back of the head, but instead kept traveling straight through the car and out the windshield as Dre pulled out his Glock and returned fire. In a split second, they were already gone, as if they were never there. The Chevy's screen lit up. Temporal exit initiated. The city blurred. The sound disappeared. And just like that, Young Dolph and the brothers were no longer on Airways Boulevard because they had the time machine perform a teleportation event. They landed in an empty cemetery, which was ironic as Young Dolph was supposed to be dead by now. The car shut off and silence filled the cabin. Dolph stepped out slowly, looking around. Where the hell am I? He asked. Quan leaned back, breathing hard. Dre just smiled. You alive, he said. Dolph looked at them both, realization slowly setting in. Y'all niggas must be some angels from heaven or some shit. How the hell y'all know I was finna get caught lacking like that? Dolph asked. Quan grinned, still slight in awe that he was in the presence of his most favorite rapper, but trying not to let it show. No, Dolph, we just some niggas that built a time machine using ChatGPT and decided to come back and save you, bruh. Dolph looked puzzled because he didn't know what ChatGPT was due to it not being mentioned or available to the public before his initial demise in 2021. Dre turned to Quan. One down, one to go, lil' bruh. You ready to go back to that city? Quan cracked his neck. Yeah. His face turned serious. Let's go get Von. The brothers gave Dolph a ride downtown to one of the expensive hotels so he could regroup and get the hell out of town. A few minutes later, Dray looked back at the dashboard. November 6, 2020, he said quietly. The screen blinked. Destination, Atlanta. Location, Monaco Hookah Lounge. Event lock detected. Quan exhaled slowly. That ain't my boy. We finna go save your favorite. The night air in Atlanta felt alive. Music echoed through the streets. Cars lined up, neon lights bounced off polished rims. The city was in full motion on that unusually warm night, even though it was the fall season. And right in the middle of it all, Monaco Hookah Lounge near the city's infamous West End. The Chevy sat parked 2 blocks away. Quan stared through the windshield, jaw tight. This where it go down. Dray nodded. You remember everything? Quan didn't answer right away. Yeah, argument, outside, shots, fast. He stepped out of the car. This one on me, big bruh. Dray grabbed his arm. Don't play hero. You changed the wrong move. It could get worse. Quan looked him dead in the eye. I ain't letting your boy die. Dray let go. Aight, then go. The bass hit heavy inside the lounge. Lights flashed. Smoke filled the air. People laughed, danced, argued. Normal night energy. Quan moved through the crowd, scanning faces. Then he saw him. King Von, standing near a section, focused, alert, like he always was. Quan took a breath and walked up. Hey, what's up, Von? Von turned slowly. Nigga, who you? He asked, eyes narrowing. Quan leaned in slightly. You don't know me, Shouty, but you need to leave, right now. Von stared at him, silent, then smirked a little. Bruh, what? Quan didn't blink. I'm serious. Something about to happen outside, and you in the middle of it. Von studied him, reading his face, trying to catch a lie. Gang, you must be 12 or something, Von asked. Quan shook his head. Hell no. Then you must be a op. Bruh, come on with that lame shit. Von tilted his head. Nigga, then why you care? Quan hesitated because he really didn't want to reveal that he owned a time machine. Then said it. Damn it. Me and my brother built a time machine in the year 2026, and we going back in time saving niggas we fuck with. You finna get shot tonight by that boy Lul Tim, and you die. Staring at Quan, super lit off of some exotic za and the hookah he was puffing, he actually believed every word the tall, weird-ass stranger was saying and abruptly got up and followed him towards the front doors. Dray outside, Dray stood across the street, cars pulling in, engines idling, people stepping out, some too tense for a normal night. His gut tightened. Quan, hurry up, he muttered under his breath. Stopping near the entrance, Vaughn questioned. You saying I die tonight? He asked quietly. Quan nodded. A long pause. Then Vaughn shook his head slightly. Nah, I don't move off fear. Quan stepped closer. It ain't fear, it's information. Vaughn's jaw tightened. Before he could respond, a voice called out from across the room. Energy shifted instantly. Tension, familiar faces locking eyes. The kind of moment that could go left fast. Quan's heart started pounding. This it, he said. We gotta go now. Vaughn looked toward the door again, then back at the situation forming. Decision time. Outside, everything sped up. Voices got louder. People moved quicker. Dray saw a group stepping toward the entrance. Focused, direct. Oh, no, he whispered. Inside, Vaughn finally moved. Inset, he said. Let's step out. Quan felt relief hit him, but it didn't last. Because stepping outside was exactly how it all started. As soon as they pushed through the doors, the air felt different, heavier, charged. Voices raised instantly, words exchanged, bodies closing distance. Dray started running toward them. Quan, everything happened at once, a shove, a swing. Then, hands reaching, people pulling, and suddenly, Quan fire reacted instantly. Von, down! He grabbed him, pulling him back hard toward the sidewalk. Dray reached them at the same time. Car, now! More shots rang out. People scattered. Cars peeled off. Chaos exploded across the street. But this time, something was different. Von wasn't where he was supposed to be. He wasn't standing in the middle. He wasn't exposed. Quan and Dray dragged him behind a parked car. Move! Dray shouted. They sprinted toward the time machine Chevy. Von, still processing everything, kept up. What the? No time! Quan snapped. They jumped in. Dray slammed the gas, and the second more shots rang out behind them. The screen lit up. Temporal exit initiated. The world stretched. The sound collapsed. And just like that, King Von was gone from that area. The time machine reappeared way across town in Buckhead in the Lenox Square Mall parking lot. King Von lit up another blunt of the Zob because the events caused his high to evaporate. He sat in the car and talked about death and close calls with the brothers for 2 hours. Dray revealed that he was his favorite rapper and having Von sign the Air Force Ones he was wearing as a collector's item. So what else y'all planning to change? He asked the brothers as he began exiting the back of the car to hop in the lift he had ordered. Dray and Quan exchanged a look. Won't even know yet, bruh. Just taking it day by day. They weren't just dealing with time anymore. They were dealing with consequences. Now, if you ain't a hater, I'm sure you saying that was a good story right there. Keep tuning in to the channel for more heat like this and type in the comments who you want Dray and Quontavious to go back in time and save next.
On the track. Her flags in the driveway. Caprice sitting on bricks, just rust. Lil' bro said if we had that running again, we spin on every yacht we ain't touch. Big homie cracked open the hood. Said it's more than a bucket, it's trust. Pulled out crack, little Android type fast ChatGPT, help us level this up. Blueprints on the screen, schematics. Old eyes, new code, that's static. Turn the back seat to a cockpit frantic. GPS now tracking our habits. Bolts in the duffel, tools on the curb. Neighbors peeking, they don't say a word. We ain't building just another whip. We been in payback for every hurt. The bloods in the Chevy into a time machine. Two homies, one keyboard, running through the unseen. Pushing dates like Addies, we can spin through scenes. From the block to the past, to revenge and leave clean. The bloods in the Chevy.